your loved ones will know. For the kids, you go from hoping everything's okay to knowing it is. And for you, you stay in your home on your terms while giving your precious family the peace of mind they've been asking for. That's not losing independence, that's keeping it. Visit ccgoffer.com to see if you qualify for a free device. It takes 2 minutes. That's ccgoffer.com, ccgoffer.com. Do it today.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Mortgage rates slide again.
Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac says the average rate on a 30-year mortgage slipped this week to 6.23%. This is the third straight weekly drop. The modest pullback in rates follows a decline in the long-term U.S. government bond yields that lenders use as a guide to pricing home loans. Bond yields have been mostly rising as the war with Iran continues, fueling worries about inflation due to surging oil prices. The volatility in mortgage rates has clouded the outlook for home sales in what is traditionally the busiest time of the year for the housing market.
That is Alec Vega reporting. Tesla's profits rose in the first quarter as its car sales rebounded from last year's sharp sales decline. The electric vehicle maker says it earned $477 million in the first quarter, up 17% compared to a year ago. Rough going today on Wall Street at the closing bell. The Dow was down 179 points. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening. The low dropping down to 58. Tomorrow's exactly like today. 88 our high. A sunshine-filled sky. Saturday, we might finally get some showers. Rain chances at 60% for a late afternoon burst. The high is 85. And on Sunday, a blend of sun and clouds. The high is 83. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
And happy Big Thursday, everybody. Welcome into Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Great to have you with us. It's Phil Kornblut. It's Chris Bergen from the Bergie Palace. And it is the most eligible producer bachelor in South Carolina, the plumber, still looking to get past second base as the summer is approaching. And look at him just smiling like the hog going to market. He's just a-looking. All right. Hope you had a wonderful day. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Mike Morgan will be here at the bottom of the hour. He wants to talk about the NFL draft, among other things. You have heard that the NFL draft is tonight, right? You have heard that.
Once or twice. The past 10 minutes.
It is a great event, but is there any non-game event? Is there any on-the-field, on-the-court event more hyped than the NFL draft?
The only two things I can think that would even come close, Phil, are the weekly releases of the CFP rankings now and maybe Selection Sunday for the NCAA tournament. But I don't think they come anywhere close to rivaling because you're not talking – I mean, you're talking about which teams might get into the tournament and that type thing throughout the season. But you're not talking from the end of your season. As soon as the Super Bowl is over, we're already starting to look forward to the draft too much later in April.
Some are. And I don't knock those people who love the draft. The draft is a great thing. It's just like for people who used to love college sports, recruiting used to be a great thing. I'm not so sure it's going to be that great moving forward. Yeah, but, I mean, they pretty much killed signing day, and they're pretty much killing high school recruiting because almost everything now is going to be coming out of your free agent market. I mean, look at basketball, and Coach Kim Potosnak will be with us one last dance with Coach Potosnak tonight. We'll wrap up his sessions with us tonight with, free agency pretty much done. And, of course, basketball's been over for a few weeks, so we'll get him back with us, of course, for basketball next year. But, I mean, who's recruiting high school basketball players hardly anymore because of the free agency out there and the ability to go out and sign 7, 8, or 9 people and to completely rebuild your roster? Who's going to the high schools hardly anymore in large numbers? Like the days of signing 5 or 6 or 7 high school players in one class, those are done.
And if the NCAA does ultimately approve, which appears to be the gaining momentum now, 5 years to play 5, what are they going to do? I mean, I've read a couple of stories today because this appears to be imminent now that a lot of coaches may be backing off the transfer portal to wait. And as soon as this is official, they may have to go back and find some of the guys that they had on their team that ran out of eligibility to see if they want to come back and play another year, because that's what's going to happen. They'll grandfather in the current seniors who are graduating or have exhausted their eligibility. They're going to grandfather them in instead of doing what they should do, and what they should have done during the COVID season is, hey, you played. You ran out of eligibility. I'm sorry, life's not fair, but we're going to start this moving forward. But we all know that's not going to happen because they are so deathly afraid of lawsuits.
Yeah. One thing I read late this afternoon from the Coaches Association is they don't want that. They don't want it to happen immediately. They're saying if you do this, let's don't do it right now to affect the here and now. Let's wait a year before you do this. But, I mean, the NCAA usually acts impulsively because they're trying to win some favor back with people and trying to stop losing lawsuits. They impose things without really thinking about the ramifications. And you're right. If it were to happen, you would see these teams going back and looking at their guys who were with them who now have another year of eligibility, and some of them would try to bring them back. Some might not want them to come back, But then again, that would add to – they'd have to reopen the portal window, would they not? Because all of a sudden these guys who thought they were out of eligibility – have another year of eligibility, but the school they were at doesn't want them back. So what do you do?
That's a great question.
You're going to have an emergency flushing opportunity. And have we got a special flush for an emergency flush? Yeah. So you have to have an emergency flushing opportunity to get yourself into a new program if this comes to pass. So the draft is tonight, as if you didn't know. And there's all kinds of mock drafts out there, I read a bunch of them last night in particular. But the people I like to go to, they're an old group. They've been around, they've been around a long, long time, long before writing about and talking about the draft became chic with so many people, It's called Our Lads. You ever heard of Our Lads?
Yes.
I love Our Lads. They're good people. And they focus on colleges, of course, but they really focus on the draft. So they put out their final mock draft last night. So just to give you a feel for what to expect, of course, the Raiders to take Fernando Mendoza, number 1. The Jets, number 2, David Bailey, linebacker, Texas Tech. The Cardinals, number 3, Arvell Reese, linebacker, Ohio State. Tennessee at 4, running back Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame. The Giants at number 5, linebacker Sonny Styles, Ohio State. The Browns at number 6, wide receiver Carnell Tate from Ohio State. The Commanders at number 7, safety Caleb Downs from Ohio State. At number 8, the Saints, Reuben Bain Jr., defensive end from Miami.
I think that'd be a good pick.
Yeah. Number 9, cornerback Mansour Delane of LSU to the Chiefs. The Giants at number 10, the offensive guard from Penn State, whose name I'm not going to pronounce correctly. Loane, I think, is his last name. Ola Loane, we'll just cut it short on the first name. Number 10 to the Giants, an offensive guard. Number 11 to the Dolphins, wide receiver Mekhi Lemon from Southern Cal. Cowboys at 12, cornerback Jermod McCoy from Tennessee. The Rams at 13, receiver Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. The Ravens at 14, offensive tackle Spencer Fano from Utah. At 15, the Bucks, Akeem Mesidor, defensive end from Miami. 16, the Jets, tight end Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon. 17, the Detroit Lions, offensive tackle Francis Magua from Miami. Might be butchering that name a little bit, but I'm close. Number 18, the Vikings, safety from Oregon, Dylan Thinneman. The Panthers at number 19 from Toledo, safety Emmanuel McNeil Warren. You know much about him?
I do not. That would be somewhat of a surprise pick. I'm looking at CBS's mock draft. They have him going a little bit lower in the first round, but evidently a solid player enough that a defensive back can go in the first round.
Well, they write that the Panthers need to fill their safety need there. Mm-hmm. They have a need. They need to, according to our lads, they have a need, and this would be the guy. At number 20, Georgia linebacker C.J. Allen to the Cowpukes. At 21, the first from the state. No, it's not who you're thinking. By the Steelers, it's Georgia offensive tackle Monroe Freeling out of Oceanside Collegiate. He's turned out to be a terrific player. Went to Georgia, of course, and excelled. The Chargers at 22, offensive tackle Caden Proctor from Alabama. The Eagles at 23, defensive end Keldrick Falk from Auburn. The Browns at 24, offensive tackle Caleb Lemieux from Utah. The Bears, defensive tackle Caden McDonald from Ohio State. The Bills at 26, defensive end Cassius Howell from Texas A&M. See, that's why I wonder, this is a guy that was unbelievably productive as a defensive end at A&M. Why is he still around at 26? Of course, a lot depends on need. Question. A lot depends on need. What do you need? 27, from Texas A&M, wide receiver Casey Concepcion. Does NC State get some credit here? Because that's where he started out.
Yeah, how are you going to handle that now when you have a guy who's played at 4 different schools? What is he going to want the NFL to announce him as? A Gamecock Tiger or an Auburn Tiger?
Yeah, or some might choose their middle school.
We've seen that happen, most notably during Monday Night Football intros.
Or preschool.
Like
I did.
Yes, it's true.
I think that's the only school you didn't flunk out of was preschool. That's why you named them, right? It's the only one you haven't been kicked out of. At
Phil,
28,
you went to Latta High School. There's not much education going on
Oh, my
there.
God. You couldn't get into Latta. We wouldn't let you into Latta High
It's
School.
a public high school,
No,
Phil. Everybody has to go.
No, you
cannot allow somebody to go to Latta
yes,
High School.
we can if I have something to say
It's the school
about
where
it.
people that have nowhere else to go, that's where they go.
Oh, you wouldn't last a week.
You got kicked out of private school, so that's why you had to go there.
28, Houston Texans, Emmanuel Pregnon, offensive guard from Oregon. 29, the Chiefs, T.J. Parker, defensive end from Clemson. At 30, the Dolphins, cornerback Avion Terrell from Clemson. At 31, the Patriots, defensive end Zion Young of Missouri. And at 32, the Seahawks, cornerback Colton Hood from Tennessee. So that's our lads. No Blake Miller in the first round, no Peter Woods in the first round, but other mocks do have them in the first round.
Yeah, CBS Sports had both T.J. Parker and Blake Miller going late first round. And what was the stat you had last night? He would be the first offensive lineman that played at Clemson to be drafted, I guess, in the first round. Surely not drafted overall.
Right.
Since, what did you say, the 60s?
Like the 60s, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Yep. Indianapolis, what our lads did as well, for those teams that did not have a first-round pick, they gave the first picks of those teams that don't have first-round picks. So, like Indianapolis Colts at 47, they've got Josiah Trotter, one of the Trotter family members. Of course, his brother played at Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
Did Josiah start at Clemson and transfer? Why am I thinking he started at Clemson? I have to look that up. I'm not 100% sure. I know he went to West Virginia. I think West Virginia was part of his resume, finished up at Missouri. But why do I think maybe I'm wrong on that. But I know his brother, of course, played at Clemson. His dad was a great player in the NFL. They have the Packers taking Lee Hunter, defensive tackle from Texas Tech. Probably have to take a pay cut after leaving Texas Tech. But that's what they've got. Michael Trigg going to the Broncos, the tight end from Baylor who started at Southern Cal, who was heavily recruited by South Carolina, by the way, out of Florida back in the day. Got him going 62nd to the Broncos. So that's our lads, and they are our lads. We like our lads, and we'll see. Hey, it's all kind of a – well, there's informed guessing. There's a lot of guessing, but there's informed guessing. These guys kind of have a feel from talking to agents and GMs about what they're thinking. But crazy things happen on the opening night of the draft, as we know. In fact, every year there's social media rumors out there that impact a player, and you know who's getting hit this time?
I don't.
Carson Beck.
Really?
They're saying, I say they, who is they? The people who are writing about it, talking about him being his personality is not good. He's sort of stand-alone guy, doesn't relate well with other people, et cetera, that kind of stuff. And the thought is, some GMs are saying they wouldn't touch him because of his personality, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just saying every year seems like one guy gets picked on because of something outside of football, or maybe his hands are too small or something like that. What you got, Plummer?
At Ladder High School, Phil was the one that everybody picked on. So,
and Josiah Trotter only played at West Virginia and Missouri.
Okay. All right. That was his brother.
Started his career with the Mountaineers.
His brother played at Clemson, of course. I think Clemson recruited him. That's maybe I got that stuck in my head. Okay. There you go. Mike Morgan coming up. And we're going to hear from Kevin Schnall, Coastal Carolina baseball coach. He's got some good news about this weekend. It's no fluke that they're as good as they are, especially with Fluky coming back on the mound. And we'll be back in a moment.
Major Billy Downer here from the Department of Natural Resources, and DNR is excited to announce the implementation of Go Outdoors SC, a new online licensing and boat titling system that you can access right from your phone. Through this new system, customers can purchase their hunting and fishing licenses, renew their boats, apply for lottery hunt opportunities, and complete electronic harvest reporting requirements. For more information, visit Go Outdoors SC at your local app store.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network. Phone number 888-898-3339. 2525, 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. Learn more about the lottery's impact at seeducationlottery.com/educationwins. And remember that playing for fun is a win for education. The text line number, brought to you by Larry Lucas State Farm Insurance, is 803-900-4847. 803-900-4847. Feel free to send in text messages, questions, or points of view, POV. Be happy to address any of that for you tonight. Keep in mind, if you lose us over the airwaves for whatever reason, you can always find us through our multiple streams. YouTube, very popular. Facebook as well. A lot of folks on Facebook, also streaming on X. And on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, SportsTalkSC.com. Everything in the show is put up in podcast form afterwards as well, as far as the various features and interviews that we do on a given night, so you can always go back and listen, including the entire show is up there as well for your availability should you miss it when it's live. So, was talking to a friend of mine today, or communicating with a friend of mine up in Boston. Of course, they got a lot going on up there. They got the last game of the Yankees and the Red Sox. I got my broom with me, going for the sweep. You got the Celtics in a hot series with the Sixers. But he said, without question,
don't forget the Bruins too in the Stanley Cup playoffs against the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, absolutely, I did forget. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. But despite all that, the big story up there remains Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini, and more, and the stuff just came pouring out today. More pictures of them together 6 years ago, as far back as 6 years ago. This is all the New York Post doing. 6 years ago, canoodling with one another. I'm using a tame word there. You like that word, canoodling?
Yeah, canoodling.
Plumber, you ever canoodled with anybody other than your mother? So anyway,
No.
Anyway, anyway, and also new pictures have come out of the two of them 2 years ago at a casino in, didn't catch the town, maybe Vegas. I didn't catch where it was, but together in a casino. So this has obviously become a very deep relationship between these two, which is between them. I mean, look, it's their personal lives is between them. Now, he made it a little more public by, and this is kind of weird, that he announced that he will be skipping the final day of the draft, which is Saturday, to go seek personal counseling with his wife and kids off somewhere. And he's going to be missing the last day of the draft. So that made it kind of a sports story. That kind of threw it even more into the sports world, because now he's affecting the organization. I am assuming the organization is on board with this and giving him the okay. Of course, the head coach has a certain amount of say, I guess, in making these picks, but it's usually your front office, your general manager, your scouts, and all those, and your team owner. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, your team owner who's making the pick. I'm not sure how much the head coach, how much input he has to say, but be that as it may, this story has gotten, more and more deep as more information has come out, and who knows what it's. I read one story where there could be, in terms of Vrabel and Rossini, because of where they were in Arizona and the laws in Arizona and the rules at that hotel, which prohibit people from taking photos, and where they promise privacy to people who are staying there. There could be all kind of laws in Arizona that were broken. If they can ever trace who took the pictures, there could be some legal action taken against those people. So this thing's got a lot of lives left in it, I have a feeling.
Well, and Phil, too, if you're going to look at it strictly from the Patriots' point of view, the one thing I would want him to miss would not be round 4, 5, 6, and 7 on Saturday. I'd almost rather him miss tonight. I mean, the first round, they've already probably decided, all right, this is our first guy that we want. If he's available, that's who we're taking. If not, here's plans B and C. They've already plotted this. You want your coach in there because a lot of folks would tell you that on Saturday is when you build depth with your team. And I would think you'd want your head coach there. at that point in time. So you're right. The reason this is a sports story is it could affect their team.
Well, as far as Rossini is concerned, and the fact that she was a journalist working for ESPN at the time 6 years ago when the first pictures have been located, and continuing to work for ESPN, I believe, when the second rendezvous became public at the casino 2 years ago, and then working for The Athletic during this most recent escapade there in Arizona. How did she get away with all that? How did she get away with having that kind of relationship with an NFL head coach, both in Nashville and in Boston, with the other insiders at ESPN all connected to everybody around the league? You don't think other people knew about this? And you don't think other insiders knew about this? You don't think the brass at ESPN or others inside of ESPN with all their contacts didn't know that this was going on privately? And, you know, she had just gotten engaged to her current husband when the first photos were taken 6 years ago. He was already married. She had just gotten engaged 2 months prior. I sound like I know too much information about this, like I've been reading too much. I've read everything about this. This is
and that's the unfortunate part, Phil. Yeah. You're not alone. I mean, it's a salacious story, and it involves sports figures, so we're going to be naturally drawn to it. But yeah, you're right. I can't imagine folks at ESPN, this is a surprise to them. And my guess is they didn't really care. As long as she was doing her job and there didn't appear to be a major level of conflict of interest, as long as she was doing her job, then let her go.
You know, that's an interesting point.
The Athletic sort of stepped in and said, no, this is not going to fly with us.
Eventually. At first, they defended her until more information came out, which is fair. Here's the thing. As an insider, you report what you want to report, and she may have continued to do a great job with her overall NFL reporting, but how many things with the Titans and the Patriots that she knew about that might not have been favorable to Vrabel did she just let, pass by in the night and didn't touch because of that relationship? We'll be back.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening. The low dropping down to 58. Tomorrow's exactly like today. 88 our high. A sunshine-filled sky. Saturday, we might finally get some showers. Rain chances at 60% for a late afternoon burst. The high is 85. And on Sunday, a blend of sun and clouds. The high is 83. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Palmetto State Armory is on a mission of making freedom available to all Americans. And with retail stores across South Carolina and a fully stocked online shop, we're delivering freedom coast to coast. PSA is an American-made and veteran-owned firearms company built for those who believe in the Second Amendment and the strength of self-reliance. From suppressors, firearms, ammo, and accessories to fishing gear and apparel, we're more than a gun company. We're a movement. Visit us in store or online at PalmettoStateArmory.com. Palmetto State Armory, American-made for life.
Release. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Police say one person died and 5 more were wounded after a shooting inside the food court at the Mall of Louisiana in Baton Rouge. Police have described it as a confrontation between two groups. Authorities had initially said as many as 10 people were injured, but the number was changed a few hours after the shooting. 5 people have been arrested. The National Transportation Safety Board says a firefighter whose truck collided with an Air Canada jet last month on a runway at New York's LaGuardia Airport, killing both pilots, heard an air traffic controller warn, "Stop, stop, stop," but didn't know who it was for. That's according to an investigative report released on Thursday. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 179 points, the Nasdaq dropped 219, the S&P lower by 29. More details at srnnews.com.
Columbia's Office of Business Opportunities presents the 13th Annual Small Business Week Conference, Wednesday, May 6th at the Bastides Alumni Center on Senate Street. Get free business resources from local partners and organizations. Network with other small business owners and entrepreneurs. Attend breakout sessions. Learn the latest trends and listen to our keynote speaker, Dr. Macy Smith. That's Wednesday, May 6th at the Pastides Alumni Center on Senate Street. For more information, visit obo.columbiasc.gov.
When storms hit the Midlands, who do you trust to keep your family safe and dry? Shingles Now, your local family-owned pros. Charlie and Rodney, both GAF Master Elite contractors, deliver honest, top-quality roof repairs and replacements. Licensed, insured, and proud to offer free inspections and estimates, we make protection stress-free and affordable. You can count on Shingles Now, the team that treats you like family. Shingles Now, roof repairs right away. Visit shinglesnow.com today.
Irmo, are you ready to groove? The Irmo Time Limits Free Concert Series is here. Join us for live music, community spirit, and local eats. Best of all, it's free admission. Friday, it's Sam and Ilya, the Fleetwood Mac Tribute Band. Next Friday, May 1st, Opus and the Frequencies. And on the 8th, come see the return, a tribute to the Beatles. Friday nights at Moore Park, presented by the town of Irmo, Window World of the Midlands, and our local State Farm agents. See you there.
Hi, I'm Sean Paliak, the new owner of Columbia Screen Printing and Design, formerly Bardak Design and Tease Me. We've rebranded, but our experienced staff and quality results haven't changed. We proudly serve the Columbia area with top-notch garments and design, and offer free delivery on our local orders. Visit us on Rosewood Drive near the fairgrounds, or check us out online. For t-shirts, sweatshirts, jerseys, koozies, and more, call Columbia Screen Printing and Design at 254-7940. We're local, fast, and ready to wow you.
This spring, Founders Federal Credit Union is giving you a fresh start. Open or access your home equity line of credit and get 4.99% APR on funds drawn from April 1st through May 31st. That's more in your pocket for home improvements or even that vacation you've been dreaming about. The possibilities are endless. Imagine a fresh start this spring with financial flexibility and peace of mind. But hurry, this special offer ends May 31st. 4.99% promotional APR expires December 31st, 2026. APR will then revert to the standard variable APR, currently 6.75% to 11.75%. Plus, you'll enjoy competitive rates designed to fit your budget. Don't miss this chance to turn your home's equity into something memorable. Relax, your HELOC just got more powerful. Visit foundersfcu.com/HELOC for more information. Membership qualification required. Institution NMLS identifier number 410646. Equal housing lender. See website for details.
Now, full disclosure, coming off our previous conversation, I have to be totally honest with you. And Bergie, you can maybe do the same if you want to, if you have anything to disclose, because we want to be honest to everybody here. Yes, over the many years, I have befriended many coaches, South Carolina, Clemson, elsewhere around the state. Yes, I've had meals with them. I've had lunch. I've had a cold beer. I've sat and listened to them talk. Yes, I've gotten information from some of these folks. Yes, it affected my journalism. It did. It affected me journalistically. I'm here to admit. I'm coming clean. I'm being totally forthcoming. Never kissed any of them, okay? I can promise you that. No pictures exist. Never kissed him. But to be quite honest with you, you're human, and when you're friendly with people in that situation, you know, you're in the media, they're a coach or they're a general manager or they're a person with information, you befriend them, they share stuff with you, you tend to look the other way a little bit when something comes down, and I'm not saying that's the case here with Rossini. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But I just want to be, you know, full disclosure here and not be a hypocrite. Try not to be a hypocrite by talking about somebody else when I have done the same thing myself, just haven't kissed you ever kiss any coaches besides?
I have not.
Well, your wife is a coach, used to be a coach.
No, she's an athletic trainer.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Kiss her often, but no, I have not kissed a coach.
Okay. All right, let's move on to somebody who's kissed a lot of things in his life, I do believe. It's time for Mike Morgan.
Morgan on the Move, driven by JT's Kia on Greystone, Killian, and Rock Hill.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's Mike Day.
All right, time for Mike Morgan on the move here on Sports Talk. Brought to you by Play It Again Sports in Harbison. Chris Mosley runs the best sporting goods shop in the Palmetto State with all the things you'll want to buy, sell, or trade. Best selection, best prices, great friendly staff. Play It Again Sports in Columbia.
Good to hear, yeah.
Mike Morgan joining us. Mike, ever kiss a coach?
That would be a no.
Okay.
That would be
We're
most
just-
of them. Yeah.
You had to think about it.
Full disclosure here on Sports Talk tonight. Yes, sir.
Well, I was thinking of maybe my little league days or something. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I had a crush on my my high school PE/dance teacher, Miss Fronapple.
There we go.
So I always wanted to give Miss Fronapple a kiss. So did every teenage boy at the school. But unlike many of the stories you hear about and read about in today's school scandals, we didn't have any of those back in the day.
Miss Fronapple.
Miss Fronapple, I'm going to tell you what, Miss Fronapple was that was my first older woman crush.
Oh, from the School of Hard Knocks, no less.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, no doubt.
So, are you at a draft party, a draft function tonight?
No, I'm about to be at a draft dinner with my wife. She
She a big fan of the draft?
No, she's a big sports fan. To put up with me, but no, she will not be doing what I will do, which is what I've done now for quite a good portion of my life. I'll DVR it. If I don't catch all of them live, I'll watch all 7 rounds, every pick. A lot of these players I've had a chance to call their games or cover. And I've said this before. I joke about it all the time, and it's kind of a sickness. And I need help, but in all seriousness, I mean, to me, it's the next 3 days are the best sporting event that a game is not actually taking place.
Yeah.
It is Phil, you're an NFL guy. You got your Packers, and you love college football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure some of the rest of your panel there feels the same way. That's how I am. I know some people choose one over the other. A lot of people in the Northeast know nothing about college football, could care less. And a lot of people in the Southeast are all about college ball, and the NFL is just kind of something that happens on Sunday, but they don't really get into it, maybe their fantasy team. I happen to love both, and I love I guess I love the skill and we all kind of do this, I think, at least on a subconscious level. I love the skill of trying to forecast how guys are going to be seen at the next level, how they're going to be drafted, and how they're going to perform. And, that all starts with the quarterback spot, and everybody knows Mendoza is going to go number 1, and, will he make it, will he not? Everybody's got an opinion on that, right? Ty Simpson, does he sneak into the first round? If not, it's the early second round. Is he just a bust because somebody's desperate to take a quarterback in a really, really weak year for quarterbacks?
Mm-hmm.
Or is he somebody that, if you watch him in some of those key games for Alabama, he's got that it factor, and so maybe he turns out to be really good. I just love that aspect of it. And, what's interesting from your standpoint, from what you cover every day, first off, from a Carolina standpoint, Cisse, the defensive back, is almost definitely going to be a first rounder, I think, in the 20s. And then Carolina will also have one other player in the top 2 rounds, and that's Jalen Kilgore. I'm not sure that another Gamecock gets drafted, but those 2 guys will get drafted highly. And then when you watch the amount of Clemson players that go in the top, say, 60 picks, I think a lot of people that don't care about Clemson or follow Clemson will be like, wait a minute, how were they not better with all these really good players? Because they've got some guys that are going to be drafted highly both tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, we were asking that same question, Mike, earlier this week. And is it possible that tonight's draft is not as interesting and may not get all the fan fervor, Mike, of former drafts because of what you just pointed out? It's a relatively poor quarterback class, and it is possible that 4 of the first 5 picks tonight will be defensive players.
Yeah, I mean, just the people that I talk to that cover it a lot closer than I do, they all say the same thing. This is one of the weaker drafts they've had in a while. That in a 32-pick first round, maybe half of those guys truly have a first-round grade in another draft, but in this one, they're going to be in the first round because 32 teams will make a selection. So from that standpoint, like next year is going to be the opposite. It's going to be loaded at quarterback, starting with Arch Manning and going on down. I think I've said this on your show before, maybe not, but as I look at it, I can't remember the last time this has happened, and it could happen tonight. When's the last time the SEC didn't have a skilled player go in the first round? That is quarterback, running back, wide receiver. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but there's a very good chance it will. If Ty Simpson doesn't go in the first round, there's no running back that's going to go in the first round, and I'm not sure if there's a wide receiver that's going to go in the first round. So this could be a rare year where the Big Ten has more first-round picks than the SEC. And if that happens, if you think Big Ten fans haven't become insufferable enough, they've won the last 3 football championships, right? They've won the last men's basketball championship. They just won the last women's basketball championship. And now they're going to potentially have a chance to brag about what the SEC's been able to brag about forever, which is the most first-round draft picks. So all those things could happen tonight one way or another.
And not to mention, Mike, there's the possibility that UCLA could win the College World Series, and by virtue of them being in the Big Ten for whatever reason, that would be another one. Let's talk about the Panthers for just a moment. They've got sort of mid-level first-round pick. Where do you think they go tonight?
Gosh, I got to be honest with you. I haven't really followed specifically what Carolina wants to do in this draft. I mean, clearly, they're turning the page. They're trying to build off of last year's momentum. We call it that. I mean, I can't say that winning the NFC South is a huge accomplishment in the last few years, but the fact of the matter is they won it. It's the worst division in football, has been for a long time, but they did win it, and so now the question is, can they build on that momentum and fill some holes and fill some gaps? I mean, I would have to think if you're still sold on Bryce Young, which, apparently they are, right? Yeah. Bryce Young is, if that's your guy, do you not want to try and give him another weapon? Do you not? And that could be in the form of an offensive lineman. That could be in the form of a skilled player. But it's not to say they couldn't use help on defense, but if you're really deciding that Bryce Young is your guy, and we know the knocks on him, he's not big, he hasn't been consistently good, he's had some games where he's been flat out awful. But if that's the case, and if you're going to stay with your man, then you might want to give him some extra weapons, right?
How about right there in your backyard, Atlanta? What does it look like the Falcons might do?
Well, Atlanta's a bit of a mess. Bijan Robinson is the one thing that Atlanta feels awfully good about. They did last year, if you remember, they went ahead and took 2 defensive ends, and they both turned out well. But they also gave up a first-round pick to get one of them. So they don't have a ton of picks. So if they're not going to the second round, and I don't know exactly where that pick is, but They have plenty of weapons around a quarterback. Well, who's going to be the quarterback? Michael Penix, remember how good he was in college, and when the Falcons, in typical Falcon fashion, they give Kirk Cousins $100 million guaranteed. He's gone. They trade up to get Michael Penix, a top 10 pick, and Michael Penix has already been hurt, as he was throughout his college career, and there's questions whether or not he can be consistently good at this level. So they have problems on top of problems. Like, they're not bad, but sometimes the worst thing you can be in pro sports is in the middle.
Yeah.
Because you don't get the super high pick to fix the biggest problems, and you keep the fan base thinking, okay, we're really close, and then Lucy pulls the football on Charlie Brown, and you're back on your rear end again. So they could use a number of things, but if they're going to stick with Michael Penix, and I'm not so sure that he's going to be the guy long term, but if they are, he's got an all-world tailback. I love Bijan Robinson. I mean, love him. But I would say they probably go offensive line, because Penix can't move either, and also bolster that defensive itch, which got better but still could use some work.
All right, couple of quick baseball questions. We'll let you go to. Are you going to Chick-fil-A for your draft dinner, or something a little more?
No, we're doing Italian tonight, Phil.
Italian.
We try to keep it classy,
right,
unlike you when you take your lovely bride out, and it's like, okay, where's the coupon at? Is Zaxby's got a special tonight, or is it? Finish out the sub card for the free 12-inch sub that I can split with her?
Yeah, Olive Garden's a wonderful place on draft night, so enjoy it.
Yes, it's not Olive Garden. I wish when the bill comes, I wish it would look like Olive Garden. Believe me.
You can't beat the all-you-can-eat salad and breadsticks. I mean, come on.
No, look.
This is true.
I'm not crapping on Olive Garden. I've had many a fine meal at Olive Garden.
Make your jokes. All right, real quick. South Carolina's got 12 SEC games left, beginning with Kentucky this weekend. Both teams, South Carolina, Clemson, and this was shocking to me the other day on Saturday. I looked at the ACC standings, and Clemson was in dead last by itself. Now, they got out of it and moved up ahead of Notre Dame. And so they're next to last in the ACC. South Carolina's next to last in the SEC. So 2 questions. Of the last 12 SEC games, and that's going to be Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Alabama, and
LSU.
And LSU. Okay.
LSU,
Yeah. How many do you think they'll win? And Clemson-wise, can they pull themselves up and make the NCAA tournament? So what do you think?
I mean, I don't have the answers to either one of those questions, but I'll give an overview. I'm calling my shot. I thought Carolina would win the series against Missouri. They wound up sweeping them. I think they win the series against Kentucky. I think they take 2 out of 3 against a not particularly strong Kentucky squad.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll put you in, I don't know, better. You'll feel better about yourself. But it's a long road to the NCAA tournament if you're Carolina. I think the overriding story of this Gamecock team, say what you want about this coaching staff, the last coaching staff, who recruited what, they got some arms. They went into the portal and they said, we got to get arms. And you know what? They got them. And they're pitching quite well. And that's without their ace, who's been out for the year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you had McCoy, who knows what this season looks like on the mound. The problem is they don't hit well. They strike out a ton. They leave runners on. It's just not a formidable lineup. And so I think that's going to continue to be the case. But I do think they can beat Kentucky. Clemson, I haven't seen it nearly as much of. It is interesting, and this is a bigger conversation. I'll leave you on this note. For years we talked about just how good Carolina Clemson was in baseball, and you could make a case that it was the best state, right? And, and you didn't even have to say per capita. You could just say the best state for college baseball, because Carolina and Clemson were routinely winning a ton of games, going to Omaha, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now here we are, and Carolina hasn't been since 2012, and Clemson hasn't been since 2010. Clemson's only won one super regional since 2010, and been to one since 2010. And Carolina has been to a few, but they've lost them all. So what has happened? It would be my question. And there's probably different answers for each team, Phil, but you are the king of recruiting and everything else in the state there. Maybe exactly.
King. I prefer emperor. I prefer emperor. King indicates a bit of a weakness, because kings have a queen, and the emperor rules over everybody. So
you're making me regret the accolade that I gave you. But nevertheless, what is, you could do a whole show on this. What has happened to go from the premier state or one of them to where it is now? And I don't have answers. I just have questions. Maybe you can find answers.
Manicotti. I always find my answers in Manicotti.
Yes, not a bad call. I will some calamari, manicotti. I can tell you this: everything I order will have a lot of vowels in it.
I understand. All right, Mike, you enjoy the dinner with the missus. Enjoy the draft. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, thank you, guys. See you guys.
Mike Morgan on the move. You know, South Carolina 5-13 in the SEC. Well, we've been saying this for a couple of weeks, but I mean, they got a chance to jump some people. They could jump LSU. They could jump Tennessee, and they could jump Kentucky. They got to win like every game and have some help. But they got to take care of their own business first, and that would include, of course, starting with Kentucky. And if they say they sweep Kentucky, they will at least move past Kentucky in the standings. Be back in just a moment.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
If you want to reach sports fans, there's no better place than the Sports Talk Media Network. We give your business exposure on over 20 radio affiliates across South Carolina, plus online at SportsTalkSC.com and on our growing social media platforms. That means radio, digital, and social, all working together for your brand. Our audience is loyal, engaged, and they trust what they hear from us. We partner with local businesses, regional brands, and anyone who wants to connect with real sports fans. From live reads and sponsorships to digital advertising, we'll build a custom campaign to fit your goals and budget. Ready to advertise with Sports Talk Media Network? Visit sportstalksc.com/sales-contact. That's sportstalksc.com/sales-contact. Sports Talk Media Network, advertising that reaches sports fans.
Stop giving your hard-earned money to high interest rates. Founders Federal Credit Union delivers with credit card rates lower than the national average, with rates starting as low as 12.5% APR. That's way smarter than the over 20% APR rate the other guys are offering. Founders credit cards are reliable for all your needs, secure with MasterCard's ID theft protection and zero liability, and convenient with easy payments, loyalty points for rewards, and mobile access anytime through Founders Online. Experience the difference with Founders' lower cost, peace of mind, and effortless use. Take control of your finances right now. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc or an office near you to get your card today. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
All right, coming up on the top of the hour here on Sports Talk, 888-898-2525. Let's go to Andy in Columbia up next with us here. Welcome in, Andy. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you fellas doing?
Well, I'm doing just fine. Doing just fine. I know you're happy your team finally won a game last night, so congratulations.
Yeah, 1 for 12. So, what can I say?
Yeah.
Now, this is the question I have for you gentlemen. What can the Patriots say about this Vrabel Rossini thing when Big Daddy Kraft got caught with happy ending down in Florida? I mean, are they going to fire this guy? Are they going to penalize this guy? How hypocritical would that be?
He is actually going to be meeting with the media, talking about Vrabel again. He's going to meet with the media about a half hour from now before the draft. So that should be an interesting session, to say the least.
Yeah, but you still didn't answer my question.
Oh,
What,
I don't
what
know.
can the
I don't know.
Patriots
I don't
really
know.
do?
I don't know what what Robert Kraft is thinking and what the organization is thinking, et cetera. I don't know. I don't know how they'll look at that.
I mean, you got
Unless they have
quite
a
the leader
morals
there.
clause
You know, I
and a
mean,
unless they have like a non-adultery
I mean,
clause in his contract, there's not a whole lot I think they can do.
I mean, the guy gets caught with his pants down getting a happy ending in Florida. You know what, and that's the owner of the team. I mean, he's setting the great example for everybody else. I mean, so what's he got to say?
He can't say anything. What can he say?
And what hotel was this, Phil? Is this someplace that you and the wife's gone out to before in Arizona?
No, I've never visited that hotel. I think the room started $1,800 a night. So
wow,
holy moly!
Yeah, it's a very
now
very
you should get a very happy ending at that hotel room. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I just thought I'd throw that out there because you hear all
He's
this
talking
talk,
about
everybody's
movies.
saying this and
Andy's
that.
talking about movies like the end of A Few Good Men. That has a happy ending, sort of. They don't execute the guy, so that was kind of a happy ending. So he's referring to movies there, ladies and gentlemen. Aren't you, Andy?
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
You don't. You're really not hearing any of the these pundits out here bringing up anything that Robert Kraft did, and that they really have no foot to stand on for him to be moral about what was done, which isn't a very good look for either Vrabel or Rossini.
Yeah.
But I don't think the organization has a foot to stand on.
And remember, Phil, Harold Dawson and Loudon Downey were found guilty of conduct unbecoming a U.S. Marine and dishonorably discharged.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a total happy ending.
That was a very bad decision by that jury. They should not have received any punishment. They were doing what they were ordered to do. You do that when you're in the Marines.
Code Red.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says he won't be rushed to end the war as Iran negotiations drag on. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The president said he's under no pressure to make a hasty agreement with Iran.
I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time. We have plenty of time, and I want to get a great deal. I want to get a deal where our nation and the world is safe.
He was pushing back against several reporters' questions about exceeding the 4 to 6 week timeline that he and his aides previously set for the war. If Iran doesn't agree to a war-ending deal, the president said the U.S. would finish it up militarily. Greg Clugston, Washington.
President Trump also says Israel and Lebanon have agreed to extend a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah by 3 weeks after talks at the White House. Trump said the meeting Thursday between the Israeli and Lebanese ambassadors to the United States went very well. Wildfires continue to burn in southeast Georgia and northeast Florida, with some 50 homes already destroyed. Denise Stevens was among the wildfire evacuees who got a free meal and some rest at the Twin Rivers Baptist Church in Hortense, Georgia.
We had to evacuate due to the fire that's on Drury Lane. I don't know if I still have a house standing or not. And that's what drives me, I think, crazy more than anything, not knowing.
The fire has sent smoke drifting over several states in the southeast, leading to air quality warnings as far away as Columbia, South Carolina. Police say one person died and 5 more were wounded after a shooting inside the food court at the Mall of Louisiana in Baton Rouge. Police have described it as a confrontation between 2 groups. 5 people have been arrested. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Kirk Cameron. Is health insurance eating up your budget for 2026? If you're looking for ways to better steward your finances, consider this: Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a health insurance alternative at half the cost. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. While insurance companies tell you when to join, what to pay, and where to go, CHM is different. As a ministry, CHM allows you to share the burden of medical bills with other Christians. You can enroll, switch programs, or leave at any time. Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a world of difference. CHM has 4 flexible programs. You can pick any certified doctor, surgeon, or hospital that you want for eligible care. So make the switch. Take your paycheck back from health insurance this year. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
A major media shift is shaping up in Hollywood. Bob Agnew reports.
HBO Max, Top Gun, CBS, and CNN may all be placed under the control of the upstart Paramount Skydance soon. That's because shareholders of Warner Brothers Discovery approved an $81 billion sale of the company on Thursday. The deal, including debt, valued at nearly $111 billion. If approved, the mega merger would vastly reshape Hollywood and the wider media landscape. It would further consolidate power in an industry already run by just a handful of major players. Bob Agnew reporting.
In the latest round of tech industry job cuts, Meta is laying off about 8,000 workers, and Microsoft is offering buyouts to a similar number. Meta confirmed Thursday it plans to cut about 10% of its workforce in an effort to invest in other parts of its business. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening. The low dropping down to 58. Tomorrow's exactly like today. 88 our high. A sunshine-filled sky. Saturday, we might finally get some showers. Rain chances at 60% for a late afternoon burst. The high is 85. And on Sunday, a blend of sun and clouds. The high is 83. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. Someone will be right with you.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, we're back in Sports Talk Media Network. Across the state on a big Thursday night. Great to have you with us. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, Bergie at the Bergie Palace, and the plumber here at our studios in Columbia. So strange. Such a strange dude. All right, in just a moment, hardcore hardwood for the final time here during this basketball era. Not season. We're out of the season. I guess we have to expand it to like an era. Maybe not an era. That's too strong. During this basketball period with free agency taking place. Before we get to Coach Potosnak, I want to mention this. So yesterday, Gamecock Central reported, and we reported what they reported. We repeated what they reported. The South Carolina had hired, H-I-R-E-D, David Duquette from the Hornets in an executive capacity to advise on a variety of men's topics. And we told you the story, the background with him. And they reported that he, I'm trying to find the right words here. Let me find the right words here. This is the latest in a string of off-season moves for Lamont Paris's program, blah, blah, blah. And the point here is that they reported that he was hired, as you would expect that to mean he's a member of the staff. and here for an extended period of time as a member of the staff. Okay, fine and dandy. That's what was reported last night. However, we have dueling information here between the two rival Gamecock insider websites. That was Gamecock Central. The Big Spur, John Whittle, reported this morning the same, that David Duquette is working in a consulting role and has been for the last couple of weeks. Said the process to get him here, to get him hired, as he put it, began near the end of March. So he's had a lot of focus on the Gamecocks since that time. And he's going to be looking at all aspects of the program, efficiencies, how things are being done, et cetera, et cetera. Analyzing players, because he does know a lot about players and player acquisition, it says here. The coaching staff will hear his opinion, but Whittle writes he's not a GM, and he is not the final arbiter of who the Gamecocks recruit. But Whittle also writes that Duquette is not is not going to be a long-standing member of the program. He wrote that, let's see. No, I can't find the exact line, doggone it. Duquette will be in a consulting role. Here we go. He'll be in a consulting role and is not a full-time member of the athletics department staff. That's what I was trying to get to. So, working in a consulting role and not a full-time member of the athletics department staff. I just wanted to give you that side of that story as well, because, I mean, after reading what was reported yesterday, Bergie, I kind of had the feeling that this was going to be a full-time member of the staff working in a front office situation, working full-time with the Gamecocks, trying to help them with their personnel decisions. But according to Whittle's report, it's a consulting role and not a full-time job with the athletic department staff. And the other thing here, it leads me to believe, too, this sounds more like an athletic director hire than a basketball coaching hire, the way I interpret the information that I've read.
So does that mean Duquette is staying with the Hornets and he'll just kind of communicate with the basketball program from Charlotte? I mean, this opens up more questions than I think it answers. And because of his background, we just assumed last night, Phil, and it made sense that he was going to handle, helping with the budget on that side of the coin. But, yeah, in terms of this just muddies the waters a little bit. Now I'm wondering if he's even leaving Charlotte and he'll just communicate with Lamont Paris and the staff from Charlotte as he continues to work with Hornets.
That's a very good question, something we don't have answers to, because you know what? There's no transparency in college sports. They don't have to tell you anything. They don't have to lay anything out for you to explain anything, and we don't know. The university hasn't put out anything. If this guy's been working for the university for the last couple of weeks, do you think maybe they ought to put something out about it? Or do we do everything in secrecy now? Is everything behind, the iron curtain of secrecy now in college sports? Certainly appears to be that way. Let's talk more about college basketball here on Sports Talk.
Hardcore Hardwood with Ken Potosnak on Sports Talk.
And we welcome in longtime coach Ken Potosnak, now operator of basketball camps and other good things, including working as our advisor here on Sports Talk. Welcome in, sir. How are you?
I'm an advisor too. I guess I'm a consultant as well. I love that title, Phil. Thank you.
You got it. Listen, I know it's a new day. I know it's a new era. I know everything's changed. I know anything that was done previously was not good, is not sufficient anymore for this era of college sports. Apparently nothing that was done in the first 100 and something years the way it was done is effective or efficient anymore. So, and now we're seeing, basketball programs bringing in general managers. Now, apparently South Carolina bringing in a quote-unquote consultant to help you identify. I mean, isn't this stuff that college basketball coaches used to be able to do on their own? You're the head coach and you've got a staff of 2 or 3 people. I mean, weren't you guys qualified to go out and identify players who can play and who can play in your system?
Well, what you said, system, that's gone by the wayside because really, really difficult in this day and age now. If you had a really unique offensive system or defensive system, multiple offenses, multiple defense system, to put all those things in with 10 or 11 new players each year is really, really difficult. Over a 3 or 4 year period, when you were, placing talent, when you were developing talent, when you were evaluating what your team needed for the future so that, you could be the best in the future and they could have really good junior and senior seasons. You look at a kid like Trey Kelly, just his production from his freshman year to his senior year, or Sam Muldrow, or, so many guys that came, stayed, earned their degree in 4 years. It's just a totally different era. So to answer your question, all of these different names, titles, I was talking with a Division I head coach, longtime Division I head coach, and we were laughing at lunch the other day. I said, all these guys and all these titles, where do you come up with these titles? And he literally looked at me and said, I just ask them what they want to be called. And that's what he calls them. So they feel good about their job title or, what they put on Instagram. So, it's a very different time, obviously.
But is it going to make for better basketball? Is it going to make for a better basketball team to have all this outside influence, outside advice as part of? I mean, I guess,
Yeah.
To the fans and to the administration, it's like, okay, in the case of South Carolina, you've been a bad basketball team the last 2 years, and we're going to do everything we can to help you become competitive in the SEC and make the NCAA tournament. And this is something that can help you. Can it really? I mean, as a head basketball coach, head basketball coaches are pretty much have always been guys that control their environment. They're the ones that stand up primarily during the game and walk up and down in front of the bench, not so much the assistant coaches and not anybody else. They're the ones that are in charge of IDing talent and recruiting and getting these guys signed. Are they going to be open? I guess they have to be, but are they going to be open to these outside ideas and influencers and consultants to say, you need to look at this guy, you need to take this guy, don't take that guy, take this guy? Is that going to work for a head coach?
Well, I think what you're finding now is that, the players have all the power. In college basketball, the head coach had all the power years ago, but now the players have every bit of power. Just 2 days ago, there are players walking in before the portal closed demanding more money, or they're going to enter the portal. So, they have the power to, come and go as they please. And there obviously is no rule book, whether you like the NCAA or not, like their ways or not. There was at least a rule book that you were supposed to follow. However, when the ball is dropped and the supposed head coach control, we're going to make sure that the head coach is control of his program, and if there are certain things that happen within the program, he's going to have to pay for that. That never happened. In fact, it's gone totally the different way. You were better off if you didn't follow the rule book. Mm-hmm. So there are no rules. The money is outrageous, and hopefully at some point they can reel it all back in somewhere or somehow. But to your point about all the different general managers or influences from the NBA, et cetera, so much of that now is purely agent-driven, meaning general managers or NBA people that are coming to college. Obviously some of them are going to know the game. They may or may have not even coached the game, depending on what side of it they were in at the NBA level. But at some point, it's getting down to which agencies do they have really, really good ties with that could potentially land a player or two these potential consultant roles or assistant GMs or part-time GMs. You see NBA players now as assistant GMs to their schools. Trey Young at Oklahoma and other schools. So they're working at some capacity, but it's so agent and money driven at this point. That's probably the key behind all of those titles and why they're bringing those people in.
What do you say, every summer, and I guess maybe throughout the year, you help run some very successful basketball camps all around the country, and you've got aspiring basketball players of all ages coming to those camps. Up until about 4 or 5 years ago, those young men, young ladies, let's stick with the men's side of it. The young men, they'd go to those camps looking to perform and be seen and be coached and improve, with the idea of, when they're high school seniors, being recruited by a college and getting a scholarship. But today, with such an emphasis placed on the free agent market and schools signing 5, 6, 7 or more free agents in any given class, it's shortened the roster for the true high school senior recruit, unless you are, of course, a one-and-done type of player, that kind of superstar kind of player that can step in anywhere and play. What do you say to the kids today, the young kids that you're working with who have their eyes wide open or are thinking about, getting a scholarship to an SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, but might have to settle, for mid-major, lower major, or D2?
Yeah, I think there's some really important messaging that their parents and those kids have to listen to. The first thing is, in order to earn a scholarship as a high school player now, for someone to give you a scholarship at the highest level, a Power 5 level, you've got to be a legitimate top 100 player who they believe can help affect winning immediately. There are very, very few programs built. There are still some, but there's very few that are built that can take a kid for 2 years and take time developing him, meaning going from a 6-minute-a-game player to 16 minutes, and all of a sudden a 28 and a 34-minute-a-game guy. The chances of guys, getting through that initial year or two, they just leave on you. And so I think guys are really, really afraid to take them. I tell all these high school players, one of the biggest things you and your parents can do is, the young players that come to us, is find one school and try to go to one high school. If you make one move and have to go to 2, it's fine. But ultimately, you're building a resume. So if you want a Division I scholarship, and even if you want a Division II scholarship, the coaches that are given the scholarship, the coaches that are now divvying up revenue and NIL share money, they want to see if there's any consistency or any trust that you've built, any loyalty. And I think that's a factor the kids don't even think about. I regularly see guys going to 3, 4, 5 different high schools in a 4-year period. And, once they learn that they can do that, it's going to be the same thing in college. And certainly the college head coaches, the guys that their job's on the line and they have to give out the money and the scholarships, they're looking at many of the kids saying, this just isn't going to be a fit. Let me go into the portal, or let me go overseas and find an older guy who's 21, 22 years old. So to your point, less and less high school kids are going to have opportunities. And until you get some rules, some specific guidelines to college entrance, and you don't even have to take a standardized test anymore. There's going to be more and more European and international players coming, taking away scholarships from kids in the U.S.
And G League invasion is happening.
It's not a huge invasion. Obviously, it's well documented because of guys like Bediako from Alabama. The kid from Santa Clara had a really good year. There was 3 or 4 of them. London Johnson, I think, may or may not still be at Louisville. But the one thing that the G League guys are learning as well is, the salaries for those kids, if they were just a G League player, not a two-way player with the NBA, a G League player is right around $50,000-$60,000 a year. I mean, they're looking at that saying, I have to go back to college because I can make 10 or 20 times that amount, 30 times that amount, because they do have that talent level. And it's, the G League, the best players are now, going to be staying in college longer if they're not a first or second round draft pick, because it's paying them much, much more money.
All right, let me ask you this question. This is Hardcore Hardwood, final session of this year with Coach Ken Potosnak. Hopefully he'll come back next year, unless he's a head coach somewhere, a general manager, a consultant, whatever the case may be. And I'm not picking on this young man, but he is sort of a poster child in my eyes, and that's Cam Scott. I pulled up a tweet from back in July of 2023 where he was down to Texas, Oregon, Alabama, Auburn, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and was ranked the number 11 player in the class by On3, the experts of On3. And I say that loosely. But anyway, he did have big schools recruiting him, and it just didn't work at South Carolina. And now he's a free agent. I haven't seen anything about him yet, being sought by anybody, visiting anybody, getting picked up by anybody. But my question is, how does that happen? Seriously, how does all these coaches who were recruiting him and all these analysts that were ranking him, how does it turn out, at least to this point, so poorly for that individual? Not just using him, talking about him, but anybody like that. How does that happen?
Yeah. And there's been a lot of guys in our state. When I say our state, I coached in South Carolina for a long, long time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I refer
Yeah.
to it as my state, too.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of guys along the way. I'll give you an example. Major Wingate in the 8th and 9th grade was the number one high school player in the country. And, May in some ways fell prey to the AAU and the travel and the this and the that, and he had a really good, solid college career at Tennessee. But sometimes when the hype, particularly now because of the social media, the TikTok, and all the hype, you'll see, it's not a large number, but a good number of highly ranked guys that just sort of fall off the board, so to speak, supposed Power 5 talents that, they might get a little bit more caught up in what people are saying about them or what maybe some of these outlets are saying about them rather than what their game truly is. So when we do have the opportunity and, we do, some really good camps throughout the year with kids, we tell them all the game is evaluated and played on 94 feet, and guys have to play it each and every day with consistency on 94 feet and continue to work at their game. And if they don't, if they get caught up on social media and TikTok rather than getting caught up and getting better on 94 feet each day, it can happen to guys. And, unfortunately, in his situation, I think that would be a guy that had talent, was hyped pretty good. Hopefully he can finish at a place that's a better fit and that can get the most out of his talent. But I think we've all seen along the way some guys who just couldn't focus enough on the court. Their mind began to focus in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, last minute or two with you. NCAA President Charlie Baker is now pushing for 5-year eligibility for anybody in college athletics, and it could pass next month and be implemented as early as June. Back to your point earlier about the limited opportunities for high school athletes. First off, 5 for 5, good rule or bad idea? And secondly, how do you think that will affect recruiting when I'm assuming coaches are going to have to look back at the guys they just coached who have run out of eligibility to see if they want to come back first, right?
I think all the guys would want to come back right away because that's where the most money is going to be made. But to your first question, I would say this. 5 years to play, I think if you go and get your degree and you earn a degree the correct way, not going and playing for 4 schools in 4 years and saying you have a degree. Well, whatever the degree process is, and a true degree is earned maybe without any transfers or maybe with only one transfer, then you can earn that 5th year and go play it because you've earned a degree, and quite frankly, you've given yourself something that will help not to enable you later in life. In fact, that degree and sort of the process of having to go to class, having to be on time, doing daily things with good habit and good consistency, you can earn that 5th year somehow. I hope that year can be earned some way rather than the NCAA allowing a kid to go to 5 different schools in a 5th year so that he can get just another quick 8 months of money. So, there's a whole lot smarter people than us figuring that out, but they need to figure it out because right now it's a total mess.
I'm not so sure they're that much smarter than us.
I would agree with that.
Because I don't think we'd have gotten us all in this kind of mess, Somewhere down the line, we'd have figured something out and made it fit within the laws and make everybody happy.
I could see the plumber being on that NCAA enforcement staff, throwing that rule book at a few schools, no question.
Yeah, the plumber. He's got all the answers. Just ask him. Coach, it has been phenomenal having you with us here over the past many weeks, months even. Great stuff from a basketball standpoint. Let us know what we can do for you, help promote your camps. Let us know where you're going to be, and we'll let people know where you are and how to get there. And anything else we can do for you, let me know. Otherwise,
appreciate it. I wanted to tell you, the big kid from Wisconsin that the Gamecocks got, the fans should be excited about him. He's got some real offensive talent, and that's an upgrade there. I think they just got him this past week, the big kid from Wisconsin. So that's a nice piece for them. I just saw that this past week.
We thank you, and enjoy your travels and everything else, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, there you go. Coach Ken Potosnak, and he does have strong roots in basketball here in South Carolina, having coached at South Carolina, having coached at the Citadel, having coached at Furman. He knows this state inside and out, and we'll be back in a moment.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening. The low dropping down to 58. Tomorrow's exactly like today. 88 our high. A sunshine-filled sky. Saturday, we might finally get some showers. Rain chances at 60% for a late afternoon burst. The high is 85. And on Sunday, a blend of sun and clouds. The high is 83. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump has ordered the U.S. military to shoot and kill small Iranian boats that deploy mines in the Strait of Hormuz, he said Thursday, a day after Iran again displayed its ability to thwart traffic through the channel. Police say one person died and 5 more were wounded after a shooting inside the food court at the Mall of Louisiana in Baton Rouge. Police have described it as a confrontation between 2 groups. Authorities had initially said as many as 10 people were injured, but the number was changed a few hours after the shooting. 5 people have been arrested. More are being sought. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 179 points. The Nasdaq dropped 219. The S&P 500 lower by 29. Oil at around $96 a barrel. This is SRN News.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local. Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there? With Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, these folks are professional. They're courteous. They're skilled at what they do, and they've earned my trust, and they've earned my recommendation to you. From urgent repairs to the tankless water heater you've always wanted, they've got you covered. Visit franklinplumbing.sc.com or call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Hey, you tell them Kev sent you from The Point. I'm pretty sure you'll want to thank me later.
Irmo, are you ready to groove? The Irmo Time Limits Free Concert Series is here. Join us for live music, community spirit, and local eats. Best of all, it's free admission. Friday, it's Sam and Ilya, the Fleetwood Mac Tribute Band. Next Friday, May 1st, Opus and the Frequencies. And on the 8th, come see The Return, a tribute to the Beatles. Friday nights at Moore Park, presented by the town of Irmo, Window World of the Midlands, and our local State Farm agents. See you there.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
Hey, it's Jay with the Cigar Militia. When I stop by a cigar store, I always look for my go-to cigars and stock up a few of those, but I also look for something I've never tried before. Well, at the Cigar Militia, we specialize in a lot of small boutique cigar manufacturers. Come in and try a Don Kiki by Karen Berger or a Makaji by Ty Williams. We are the Cigar Militia at 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard. Help us out, stock up, and review some of our boutique brands.
Have you visited the original Pancake House on Forest Drive lately? Still family owned while focusing on amazing breakfast and lunch, fresh ingredients, and providing a family feel with the best service around. And isn't that what really matters when you go out? It's all about fresh, huge oven-baked omelets, their famous Dutch baby, and wow, those amazing pancakes. Gotta try those apple pancakes. Thick-cut bacon, the finest French toast, and oh, those homemade crepes. It's the original Pancake House, Trenton Plaza. Come see us.
All right, let's update some baseball. In the ACC tonight, North Carolina and Duke, they're scoreless in the top of the first. Alabama and Tennessee in the SEC, they're scoreless in the top of the first. You also have Arkansas and Missouri going at it tonight. Major League Baseball, the Braves have won today. They beat Washington 7-2. I think they take 3 out of 4 in that series. J.R. Ritchie allowed a home run to James Wood on his first major league pitch, then rebounded to allow one more run over 7 innings. The Braves beat the Nationals 7-2. Ozzie Albies homered and had 4 runs batted in for the Braves, who broke a 2-2 tie with 4 runs in the 7th. Ritchie, a 22-year-old righty, 35th pick in the 22 draft. He gets the win, struck out 7, walked 2. 54 of 89 pitches went for strikes, averaged 94.4 miles an hour with his fastballs. Also mixed in 25 curves, 19 changeups, 10 sliders, 7 cutters, 4 sinkers. He spat 42 times, and he scratched himself 12 times. Well, if we're going to give the stats.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, I mean, good grief. That's enough. All right, what was the rotation on Jason Tatum's jump shot last night? Did he have enough arc on his shots? I mean, what was the arc trajectory on all his shots? I mean, come on. Baseball.
The Mets lead Minnesota 3-1 after 1. Red Sox
break up the Mets.
Red Sox over the Yankees 2-1. They are in the middle of the 6th. Detroit beat Milwaukee 5-4. Cubs beat the Phillies in 10, 8-7. Padres over Colorado 10-8. White Sox beats Arizona 4-1. Dodgers shut out San Francisco 3-0. Pittsburgh in Texas later on tonight. And we got recruiting coming up for you and some comments as we look ahead to Coastal Carolina's weekend. Kevin Schnall will be hearing from him in a little bit. They're playing Texas State this weekend as they continue to lead the Sun Belt. Tiger Bryan is with us from Lancaster tonight. Tiger Bryan, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know what I'm going to do? I don't know if they have it. I'm going to vote for you for the Hall of Fame of Sports Talk.
That's okay. I seek no glory. I'm here to do a job.
Aren't you in it like 7 times or something?
No. I seek no glory. I am here to talk sports every night with the people who want to talk sports. I'm not into all the nonsense. Shut out the noise.
You are so great at it, too.
Thank you, Tiger Bryan.
Well, I will tell you.
Thank you, Tiger Bryan. If we had 10 million listeners like you, Tiger Bryan, we'd be wealthy beyond our wildest dreams.
And no offense to Tiger Bryan, if we just had 10 million listeners.
If I hit the lottery, all y'all going to be wealthy.
Thank you, Tiger. Okay? Thank you.
Hey, listen, I got to do some shout-outs. Hey, I was at my buddy's house. They got Bobby last Thursday. I'm a pool master, right? I got pools for 30 years. I was helping him. He fell in and cracked his 7th vertebrae.
Oh!
I laughed at him. He was supposed to meet me at the Frog Bar here in Lancaster to eat lunch that day. Me and my wife, me and Mr. Tiger Bryan. He called me. I'm in the hospital. I horse laughed him. I like pissing my pants because it was funny.
Wait a minute.
I thought he was all right.
You said he fell into a pool? He fell into a pool?
Yep. Yeah, he pulled. And we was taking the cover off his pool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's all right. I'm ready to run off. I'm his chauffeur the next 6-8 weeks. He can't drive.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a good man. I was going to give him a shout-out.
Mm-hmm.
You remember y'all called him Gamecock Bill? He's Gamecock Bill. It's fishing season. He better get him a new rod because I'm going to take him to school again.
Are you going to wear him out? You're going to wear him out? Yeah.
Every time. Now, he did catch the biggest fish one time. Yeah, big bass. But
yeah,
as far as
you
numbers,
need to. Did you catch SC Wild last night from DNR with us?
No, I didn't. No, hey, I had so much going on getting my pool ready.
Well, my point is, Major Downer was talking about fishing. He was talking about ponds in our state and had an expert on about ponds and fishing ponds in the state and how you put the food in there, how you get the right food to feed the fish, to grow the fish, and et cetera, et cetera. You would have found that very interesting.
I would have, but you know what? I've been fishing for probably about 58 years. I catch fish every pond I go to.
Yeah, but you're never too old to learn new tricks, Tiger Bryan.
You right. But listen, I got a football question for you now.
Please.
Yeah. Do you think that's what I'm seeing? I'm seeing Davidson be in the backfield with Johnson. 2 back set for Clemson. And that's going to be awesome if we got offensive line now. That's the key.
Well, who are you going to take off the field? You're going to take the tight end off the field? You're going to take one of those receivers off the field?
Yeah, I'll take a receiver off fast as Johnson is.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I mean, split backs, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to remember with Morris was at Clemson previously. Did he run? He didn't. Do you remember Berger? Did he run a lot of 2 backs?
Oh, my gosh, Phil. That sounds like almost running a wishbone.
Yeah.
My son lives in Clemson.
Say again, Tiger? No, what happened?
I think you forgot to pay the phone bill, Phil.
Been fishing too much.
Did we have another computer glitch?
It's not. I mean, it's
I'm
just,
done with this
No,
computer.
it's on his end. It's on his end this time.
I'm done with this computer.
It's on Tiger Bryan's end. It's not
Give
on
me the
my
landlord's
end.
number.
You know what? Because
okay?
I'll call it.
I want to record a nasty message to the landlord since he sent a nasty message to me about my tea. I want to record a nasty message to the landlord about the computer.
You're recording.
Landlord, fix the dang computer.
Or else.
Or else.
Or else what?
Or else. I'm going to leave it wide open. I want all my opportunities here wide open. Thank you, Tiger Bryan. Appreciate that. Good hearing from you. By the way, I was talking to a coaching buddy of mine who's seen South Carolina a little bit in practice. I haven't, of course. Don't know anything directly. But he was really very positive about what South Carolina will do offensively this season, especially that they are installing an offense to return the quarterback read to the offense. It takes pressure off the offensive line because, as he put it, you don't always have to block the best defender. You just let the quarterback read, and with Sellers reading, they feel like he's going to make the proper read and make big plays happen. Receiving core, and when you think about it, the receiving core at South Carolina is going to be very, very good and very deep, and they've got length at wide receiver. They've got speed at wide receiver. Running back room they think is going to be just fine. So this individual has a feeling that South Carolina's offense is going to be like, top 5, top 6 in the SEC this coming season. Now, could you believe that?
No. That would be an astonishing improvement from where they've been. Even if they're not top 5 or top 6 in the SEC, if they're able to score over 30 points a game, I think that's massive improvement from what we've seen.
Yeah.
And that may get them inside the top 5 or top 6 in the SEC, but they've got to improve, whether it's total yards or just they've got to improve scoring inside the red zone. They've got to be a whole lot better on offense from a scoring perspective. If they roll up 400 yards and still only score 21 points a game, what good is it? Yeah. They've got to put points on the board.
Yeah. All right, a couple of other notes. South Carolina's in 8th place at 12 under after 2 rounds of the SEC Golf Championships. The top 8 teams after tomorrow's 3rd round make the cut to match play. USC has a 1-shot lead on Vanderbilt. Auburn leads the tournament at -27. USC's Frankie Harris is tied for 6th at -8. Clemson is tied for 8th at 3 over after 1 round of the ACC Championship. Stanford leads at -13. Oscar Bredger and Rich Willis are both 1 under for Clemson, and that's a tie for 14th. USC Kentucky pitching this weekend. Amp Phillips is going to move up to Friday for South Carolina. He'll face a right-hander, Jackson Jelkin, who's 6-1, 3.22. It'll be Brandon Stone on Saturday against TBA. And on Sunday, TBA for South Carolina against right-hander Connor Madison, 2-1 with a 5.13. Clemson pitching for their series with Louisville, no change from the norm for Clemson. It'll be Canuck on Friday, Sharman on Saturday, and TBA on Sunday for the Tigers. This note as well, highest combined football and men's basketball head coaching salaries. Alabama leads the way with $19,750,000 per season to their 2 coaches. North Carolina's next at $18,330,000.
They're really overpaying.
Indiana is next at $17,525,000. Come on down. Clemson is 8th at $15,505,000. Of course, Dabo Swinney makes $11,500,000 of that. That's sort of like the Aaron brothers. Hey, here are the Aaron brothers combined. They've hit 700 and
right, yeah.
755
home runs.
Well, 700 and what was it? Yeah, 750.
55.
I mean, Hank had 7 whatever, and his brother had like 10.
Okay, his brother did hit some home runs.
Yeah. His brother hit some home runs, but not many. So anyway, that was an interesting little thing that we saw there. Okay, let's run to the break. We've got recruiting coming up, then some comments from Coastal Carolina baseball coach Kevin Schnall as he met with the media today to talk about the return of Flukie to the mound. I think he's going to pitch on Sunday, correct?
That's correct.
So get him back. He'll pitch on Sunday. And the Chanticleers, they are cruising right now in the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt is in their control as they head into this weekend. They are 4 games up on Southern Miss, which is a good team. They're 15-3 in the league, and so Miss is 11-7. Be right back.
In 2012, inside Clemson football's weight room, a different kind of barbell was developed. The Tsunami Bar is a flexible, oscillating bar designed to enhance high-intensity training while helping reduce joint stress. Unlike traditional rigid bars, it moves. That movement forces your stabilizer muscles to activate, your core to engage, and your body to produce force more efficiently. The result is improved strength, better balance, and more functional performance. Tsunami Bar Sports continues to provide innovative, dynamic training solutions that empower individuals of all fitness levels to reach their peak potential. Whether you're training for general fitness, building resilience, or improving rotational strength for sports like golf, the Tsunami Bar challenges your body in ways traditional equipment cannot. Learn more at TsunamiBarSports.com.
Calling all turkey hunters, this is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Turkey season is coming soon. The most common accident while turkey hunting is failing to identify your target. Know the identifying features of a turkey. Make sure of your target and what lies beyond it before you pull the trigger. Remember, safe hunting is no accident. For more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov.
If you're juggling multiple credit card balances, you know how quickly high interest can add up and how stressful it can become. Now through June 30th, 2026, well-qualified borrowers can pause interest when they transfer credit card balances and enjoy 0% APR for 12 months. A balance transfer can simplify your life, making it easier to focus and manage your budget. This limited time offer can help you move forward with confidence. Upon expiration, APR will then revert to the standard variable APR, currently 12.5% to 17.90%. If credit criteria are not met, 17.9% APR will apply. Visit apply.foundersfcu.com to get started today. Not a Founders member yet? Stop by an office near you or visit us online at foundersfcu.com to see if you qualify for membership. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Okay, recruiting brought to you by Seawells. Don't forget the buffet tomorrow. It's a roast beef Friday. Get over there, enjoy. It's going to be delish. Lots of gravy, lots of delicious roast beef. Usually pretty rare, cooked pretty rare. I call ahead and I say rare, so it's rare that it's not rare. So get over there while it's rare and enjoy all the gravy and the roast beef. And you got something that needs the very best in the catering business coming up, a special event that you want to put on and you want to impress your family and your friends. Just call Seawells, 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. South Carolina offensive coordinator Kendall Briles out in Texas. He visited receiver Brody Knowles of Southlake. He's known him for a while. He recruited him when he was at TCU, along with receivers coach Mike Furry. They are recruiting him now for South Carolina. He's going to be visiting officially May 1st. Also looking to visit Colorado He has TCU, Kentucky, and Arkansas already down. Those are the schools that he's focused on. He's a tall guy, 6'5", so they like him as a tall receiver. And he's going to go to Arkansas today. He's at Arkansas today for an unofficial. 2028 quarterback Trey Wright of Frisco, Texas. Clemson's on him, 5'11", 165. He recently visited Clemson and has a strong impression on the Tigers right now. Like the stadium, facilities, everything about him. He passed for over 4,000 yards and 43 touchdowns last season. So Chad Morris has gotten in on him, and Taj Boyd is also helping to recruit him. He's also a basketball standout as well. And so Clemson is going to be eyeballing him. He plans to return for a camp in June. South Carolina, one of 6 officials set by defensive end Mekhi Allen of Ramsey, New Jersey. He was at Illinois last weekend. He's got Tennessee May 22nd, Texas A&M May 29th, USC June 5th, Florida State June 12th, Texas June 19th. Offensive lineman Elijah Hutchison of Roanoke, Virginia. Clemson is in the Final Four, along with Virginia Tech, Florida, and Vanderbilt. USC offensive line coach Randy Clements Wednesday visited offensive lineman Will Endicott of Prosper, Texas. Endicott's been favoring the Gamecocks as an official June 5th. USC running backs coach Stan Drayton visited 28 running back Michael Martin of Christ Church Wednesday. USC defensive line coach Travian Robertson visited with defensive lineman Amir Moore of Harrells, North Carolina Wednesday. Clements of USC also visited offensive lineman Caleb Seiler of Gunter, Texas this week. He's been to USC unofficially. He's going to UCLA and Stanford this weekend. Then he'll set his officials. Linebacker A.J. Randall Raleigh has finalized his officials. He had previously set USC for May 1st, Ohio State June 12th. He's added NC State May 8th, Florida May 29th, Miami June 5th, and Georgia June 19th. Wide receiver Kyron Caldwell, Lake City, Florida, has USC in his top 7, with Georgia, Mississippi State, Alabama, Maryland, Colorado, and Auburn. Clemson receivers coach Tyler Grisham visited receiver Lawrence Brent of Memphis on Wednesday. 28 defensive back Langston Pridgeon of Ashburn, Virginia was at Clemson on Tuesday. 28 tight end Gregory Kerman of North Kingston, Rhode Island visited USC on Wednesday. USC offered 28 quarterback Carter Zingelman of Coppell, Texas, 2,000 passing and 17 touchdowns, 800 rushing, and 15 touchdowns last season. USC offered 28 offensive lineman Ty McCurry of South Lake, Texas, 6'6", 290. USC offered 28 running back Caden Bellard, 5'10", 192, Lafayette, Louisiana. USC offered 29 defensive end Dakeen Kuyateh, Kuyata, 6'3", 230 of Baltimore. South Carolina, did that. Tennessee had a visit Thursday with Clemson target offensive lineman Carter Jones. Woodruff running back Aiden Gibson made an unofficial to Rutgers Wednesday. Lucy Beckham offensive tackle Ty Johnson, committed to Georgia, was offered by Auburn. Oceanside Collegiate receiver Jaden Kelly Murray offered by Kansas State. Burns cornerback Aiden Wiggins sets an official to Syracuse June 5th. 29 running back Braden Bolts of Crestwood offered by Baylor. Basketball 6'3" Olivia Edwards of Tacoma, Washington, committed to South Carolina women today. Highly recruited prospect signed with Tennessee in November, was granted her release last month by Tennessee. And the Big Spur reported that 6'5" free agent Davion Hanna from Alabama is at South Carolina today. He's a native of Wisconsin, a freshman at Alabama this past season. He missed the last 24 games with injuries. He averaged 3 points and 2 rebounds per game. And one-time Clemson women's signee Trinity Jones has committed to Maryland. All right, there you go. Recruiting tonight on Sports Talk. Bergie, take us into Kevin Schnall for a few minutes.
Yeah, met with the media today to get ready for their big series this weekend against Texas State, big power-hitting team, actually ranking inside the top 15 nationally in home runs. Also gave an injury update, including when they might see Cameron Flukie back on the mound. Here's what Coach Schnall had to say about the Bobcats of Texas State.
Well, obviously power. What do they have, 74 home runs? They're one of the top home run hitting teams in the country. So we're going to have to rise up to that challenge. Ultimately, though, you look in the last 6 games, we're 2-4, and there's a lot of things that we need to do better. But specifically, we've got to be better at the plate. We're scoring on an average 6 runs a game in those last 6 games, and you take away the 17-run game that we had versus Georgia State, and it's less than that. We've got a bunch more quality at bats, and we've got to play better team offense to score more runs to give our pitching staff more margin for error.
You talk about the pitching staff. What was behind the decision to put Cameron on Sunday? Was it because Luke and Ross had just pitched so well on Friday, Saturday that you didn't want to kind of mess up what you had going on there?
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of reasons for that. Again, you look at the last 6 games. In the last 6 games, only 2 starts did we get into the 6th inning. And when you do that, you have to stretch out your bullpen guys. And, ultimately it's going to come back to get you, especially with where we're at with our depth on the mound. And that's really what happened on Sunday is our bullpen was stretched out. We got a 4-inning start by Appleman, and our bullpen was stretched out. So what does that look like on Sunday? If Cam can go 2 innings on Sunday, call it what it is. App has been basically giving us 4 innings. You turn the ball over to him. Now you get the 6-inning start you're looking for. Could shrink your bullpen. Again, that's perfect world, but our starting pitchers have to go deeper, as well as Ross Drew on Saturday. I thought he made a lot of big pitches, competed very well. He still only went 5 1/3. And that 5 1/3 stretched Darren Horn out to go 3 2/3. So now Darren was done for Sunday. And again, that hurts us. Darren shouldn't have to go 3 2/3. That's not, where he's going to be at his best. And again, on Sunday, Richardson has to throw 3 innings. He's not at his best when he has to throw 3 innings.
All right, comments of Kevin Schnall, Coastal Carolina baseball coach. Again, they're rolling once again this season, on track to be a top 8 national seed and a regional host. What a job he's doing. And bottom of the 2nd, Tennessee and Alabama are 2-2. Top of the 4th, Duke leading. I make that North Carolina leading Duke 1-0. And this just in, the Yankees lead the Red Sox 4-2.
Hey, they might actually catch the Braves here in the next week or so. Almost be as good as the Braves.
I mean, you talk about a roller coaster. That's the Yankees. They are, they're either really good or they're really poor.
Most of the time, they're poor.
Better than the Tigers. By the way, how the
what?
What are their
Pistons?
names?
They're doing great.
We'll see you tomorrow.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.